Hey everyone, welcome back to another Transformers review, and today we have a conversion kit for an IDW Chromedome, which is for the Titans Return Chromedome mold. And as this is a conversion kit, it replaces a whole lot of crap. So, but I think this is actually a pretty sweet set, and it turned out really nicely for, a 3D printed kit. Now, I got this off of
eBay.
Yeah, well, this is two kits. The head is a separate kit, and then the arms and legs are another. But they're all by the same person, and links to those will be in the description if you want this for yourself. Yeah, well, let's get in close and look at this, and it's a quick, head comparison. You can see more accurate to the comics and doesn't have the red cube of death on it. But yeah, there's not much to say. It's all very solid stuff. It still keeps all of its articulation. Oh, that'll happen. That is one issue. There's some tolerance issues where some parts might need to be sanded down so they don't pop off. But otherwise, yeah. Now for a quick comparison, here is Titans Return Highbrow, so you can see what he looks like next to another Titans Return figure. And here he is with Senator Shockwave, and as you can see, it beefs him up to about Voyager, just from how long and spangly his legs are here. But yeah. Oh, and well, I don't have a rewind, but here is my porta potty transformer. If you ever want to see what the scale would look like with a rewind figure. Alright, next I'm just going to go over a quick guide on how to put this guy all together. And yeah, we'll go to that right now. To start things off, you're going to want to just pop off the entire arm. So, and you're going to remove the forearm and elbow from the shoulder. And then you'll be placing the new arm, which will just be this entire portion without the hand. You'll just slide it on, and this is a really tight connection. So you might want to sand something down in here just so it's not as much of a nightmare to get on. Now, next, you'll have this bit. This tire will not be connected to this though, because if you can see in there, this is the big tire off of the leg. So you'll just slide the tire into this wheel, and the wheel will then connect to this assembly, which will then go onto this port on the shoulder. And then you can put a hand on. And there. And that's all there is to the arms. You just pop it back on. Now, my arms are pretty loose, but it's because these are pretty hefty bits, so you might want to tighten these shoulders up. The head is pretty self-explanatory. You'll just pop it off, and it'll already have this little port on it once you buy it. So you can just slap it on there. There you go. Now the legs are going to be a similar deal where you'll just pop the whole leg off. You'll take the hip joint off and place it on this instead. And you'll take this foot piece and put it on. Now, as you can see, this is the small wheel that you get off the back right here. And you're just going to place that on another port right here. And that's it, really. And I'll just pop this back on. Now for the final piece is this back cockpit piece. Yeah, you might want to sand this red bit down before you put it in, because it's a tight fit. But it'll just snugly fit in the seat area where you'd normally put the Titan Master. And this will just kind of rest on it. And that's all for the conversion kit and how to assemble it. It's not a terrible ordeal, but once again, some parts might be really tight. I had to sand down these feet pieces, things holding the alternate hands together. And I might go back down and sand these so they're not as tight. Before we get into transformation, I just wanted to show off the alternate hands this guy comes with. As you can see, he's got fists here. He's got a grabby hand, although I would not recommend trying to put this in here, as I do not trust the build quality of this thumb here to stay on. We have his needle hands, which unfortunately, same kind of issue. This one broke off during shipping, but I am not entirely surprised with how tiny these pieces are. And as you saw before, the relaxed hand. Now to transform this guy is actually pretty simple. You're going to want to fold up this panel just there. You don't want to go past these, because I feel like those would break. I like to just flip his fist up like that, fold it in, do the same on this side. There's that. Now you can flip them around. You can just transform this section as normal, up like that. And you don't need to mess with these. These can just stay as is, so you don't need a parts form or anything. Although, due to this being a kind of crap connection, I find it easier to just angle it up this way, put it back on. So you'll want it looking like this, kind of angled down a little bit. Just do the same over here. Whoop. Like that. And the legs, you're just going to turn at the hip, so these are facing upwards. Like this. You want to twist the feet down like that. Now, this is a double hinged knee, so you're going to want to bend it up and like that. Up and like that. Now you can go ahead and pull these arms down and have the wheel fall off. I'll just tab in this part. There we go. And the head and chest can stay like that. And now, finally, you just fold these feet all the way up like this, and just try and make sure everything's flat and not, you know. But that is the vehicle mode, and there. For a 3D printed conversion kit, I didn't really expect it to transform without parts forming, and for it to actually look as accurate as it does to the comics. So that is pretty cool. And it kind of rolls, but these wheels are pretty tightly on there because they act as a heel for the foot. But otherwise, this is a really cool vehicle mode. And for comparison, I don't really have anything transformed. So here is G1 Buzzsaw. And here is Studio Series Blur. So you can see how that all looks together, I guess. Now a quick rundown on articulation on this guy. You got, you know, ball joint on the head, so you can do all that. These shoulders still work exactly the same as Titan's Return. You got an elbow joint about 90 degrees, and this is a tight swivel, but it swivels. His hand's gonna wiggle waggle around on the transformation joint and swivel too. His waist still functions, although it'll bump into this at around that point, but whatever. Hips go in, or go forward, back, out. But no, this will start bumping into stuff. This will can swivel. You have a knee joint here and a knee joint here. So you can mess around with all this stuff. And the foot has a tilt about there. And it can move. And this moves. So he's a pretty articulate guy. If you tighten his limbs if need be, because this is a pretty old figure by today's standards, so if you have a loose one, you might want to tighten him up a bit before applying all this. And that's been my quick look at the Titan's Return Chromedome conversion kit, and honestly, I'd say pick one up if you have the need for a more comic accurate Chromedome. You can just get the body kit, or you can get the head kit too, like I did. And yeah, dude, just besides some little tolerance issues and tight joints, I'd say it actually does its job pretty well. It's still very articulated. The main limbs don't feel like they're gonna break anytime soon, and I think it's all creatively put together. Yeah, that's been my look, and see you in my next video in 3,000 years.